Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. I hope that you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing great and that you're all having a wonderful day. Don't forget to like the video. It's actually like the most fun you're probably going to have all day. Most people don't know it, but when you actually like a YouTube video, it kind of sets you up for success for the rest of the day. I don't know if everyone else has heard that, but I've heard that a few times. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. We have had a doozy of a time. I was going to say month. I was going to say weeks, and I was like 6 months. No, in general, being in this market is probably one of the most fascinating things that has ever happened to many of us. Between the literal ups and downs, seeing the rapid integration of crypto and Bitcoin into everything, it's been quite fascinating. The last 5 days, for some reason, there was an amount, a little hill of news about like Bitcoin being used for mortgages. If you missed it in any sort of way, we got news 3 weeks ago that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were apparently thinking about allowing people to use Bitcoin as collateral when buying a home, which is already absolutely, really completely insane. And it's not the year 2035 yet, so I can't imagine when it becomes completely commonplace. Then we got news that Trump was going to sign, is signing some kind of a bill that would also allow 401ks to legally buy Bitcoin for the actual retirement funds. And then we heard, what was the other thing? It was some other company who also announced something with Bitcoin and mortgages. And then we had another thing with Bitcoin. The other thing was Changpeng Zhao. Changpeng Zhao was talking about owning 0.1 Bitcoin would be enough to basically own the world, and you'd be able to buy tons of real estate. And if you didn't want to get rid of your Bitcoin, you'd still have millions of dollars. It's for some reason we've had like a revolving around real estate kind of confluence within the news as of late. And this one, dramatically enough, is no different. This is also absolutely incredible. And like I said, at some point it is going to be commonplace for this to actually happen everywhere. And we won't bat an eye anymore about it. It says an Australian fintech startup called Block Earner, has launched what it calls the first Bitcoin-backed home loan, allowing Australians to use their Bitcoin as collateral for a home deposit without having to sell it. I don't know what's happening, but whatever is going on, it's heating up rather quickly. I don't know where it came from. We're hearing a lot of Bitcoin, home ownership, mortgage, some kind of news in that capacity. We're getting to the point where, and I would like to assume that this is the reason. A lot of times when we get news, I do notice that a lot of people tend to be quite blasé about it. And I want to believe it has to do with like this all becoming rather normalized. I want to believe a lot of people within the space are constantly investing, putting their money away, that you hear stuff like this and you go, okay, that sounds kind of cool. I'm not expecting like a Home Alone kind of reaction, but more of a, this is kind of insane. Even the idea of using it as a deposit without having to sell it is also kind of nuts. It says the firm offers up to 50% of a property's value as a deposit loan. secured by the borrower's Bitcoin, which is held in custody by the company called Fireblocks. Repayments, here we go, can be made in cash or crypto with no early exit penalties. To manage Bitcoin's inherent volatility, the loan is capped at 60% loan to value LVR ratio. If Bitcoin's price drops sharply is crazy. Sharply, there we go. Borrowers receive a 30-day notice to adjust the LVR by a fiat repayment, additional collateral, or a Bitcoin top-up, with only a partial sale of Bitcoin occurring if the loan-to-value ratio isn't corrected. Block Earner emphasizes that the home itself is never at risk due to Bitcoin price fluctuations. This must have been 2016, 2017. I remember because it made the news. I was just starting the channel and I was like, what? If I remember correctly, I assume that the word is, a company in New York City who they were the first to announce that they were actually accepting Bitcoin for real estate. And I remember being like, Bitcoin's only been around for like 5.5, 6 years. Like, how in the world is this possible? I remember I went to their website and I was checking around. Of course, it was like multi-million-dollar properties. But I was like, I remember thinking, can you imagine in the future if Bitcoin goes to $1 million and you only have to sell like one Bitcoin? That'd be kind of crazy. And then, of course, it completely gets blown out of proportion when you think of, like, if you missed the other discussions we were having with, I don't remember, Adam Ryan Burke? I don't remember what this guy's name was. Some analyst recently was talking about how little Bitcoin you need to own to be, like, secure in the future. He was basically predicting a 47 million US dollar Bitcoin. When I hear things like that, it literally is like a bit of a time warp for me where I'm like, imagine if Bitcoin does go to $38 million in 10, 15, 20 years. Think about how many of you, like, it's not even like generational wealth. It's literally like you don't even have to think of saying the word job ever again. The amount of real estate you'd be able to buy, like the way you'd be set up. I mean, it looks like we're moving in that direction. This is what I always say. It obviously looks like we're moving into a future where Bitcoin kind of is at the forefront of all of this, but it kind of goes without saying that we've reached some kind of a crazy tipping point when the idea of Bitcoin being used for retirement funds, for 401ks, and to buy a home is like just the norm. In 2025, I am desperate to see exactly what all of this is going to look like in the next 4.5 years. 4.5 years being when Cathie Wood predicted a $2.4 million Bitcoin. I don't think that we're far off. Yeah, that's the apparently Australians through a company called Block Earner can now buy a home with Bitcoin as collateral. We are living in the literal future. And yeah, let's move on. Also in the news, in a recent regulatory filing with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, NASDAQ listed medical equipment and software firm, they are called Semilar Scientific, revealed that they have acquired an additional 210 Bitcoin, bringing their total holdings to 4,846 BTC. Don't forget, all the companies who announced that they were going to start buying in January, February, and March, a lot of times the news ends up being like new company. But squished in between, we end up having the news that a company who announced before that they were going to buy, they're still buying. The usual initial purchase, ends up, it sounds normalized, but it's insane. Ends up being either 100 million, several hundred million, or somewhere in the range of $1 billion. And then they kind of go on their business just purchasing more every couple of weeks. The California headquartered company continues to grow its exposure to the world's largest cryptocurrency by market cap. According to the filing, Semilar Scientific purchased 210 Bitcoin between the 3rd, the 3rd and the 16th of July. I guess they were really trying to time any kind of price dips. Okay. Spending $25 million at an average cost of $118,000 per Bitcoin. Yeah, they were definitely trying to time those dips. At current market prices, the company's total Bitcoin holdings are near $570 million US. Meanwhile, the average acquisition cost of their Bitcoin stack stands roughly around $93,000 per coin. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. There's not a lot of Bitcoin left. We have to go through that seemingly all the time. I actually kind of love when people write in the comment section, really. They're tired of hearing about it. They don't want to know about it anymore. We know that Bitcoin's rare. No, you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't be commenting like that. You would make sure that you're actually doing something about it. That's one of the things that I've learned through investing over multiple years, is that the people who are quiet, if you will, these are the people who are constantly doing the most. You take information and you actually use it and you make it work for you. Anyone who has ever said, I'm tired of hearing about XRP, I assume you don't have any XRP. You probably didn't buy it 1 cent. You didn't buy it 70 cents, and you just didn't benefit from its price going up. If you have a hard time hearing that Bitcoin is rare, all the rich people are buying it, and that there's not enough left for you or your family or your friends, you don't understand actual scarcity. You're choosing not to understand because at the end of it, you want to believe that you're going to be okay with your 37,000 Satoshis. I'll be just fine. I don't need any more Bitcoin. I'm going to go after Kabugala coin and all these other nonsensical things. So cool. That's just the way that things are. I mentioned that a bunch of years ago. I've been trying to tell friends and some family has listened about things within the cryptocurrency space. Everyone else hasn't listened. And when I do text them, hey, what's up? What's going on? I'm okay. My rent went up. I can't afford this. I'm trying to do this. Have you gone on vacation? I can't. What? A vacation? I don't have enough money. And I go, okay. That's usually the general mindset. So for those who are quiet, those who keep to themselves, those who've been quietly accumulating, I'm sure you're doing absolutely exceptional. That's the Semilar Scientific is very close to 5,000 BTC. And yeah, let's move on. This is cool until it's not. And then it becomes a gigantic red flag when you actually understand what this is. Some of you will get it almost instantaneously. Coinbase is back in the news. Coinbase is always trying to do everything. The problem is that a lot of their everythings end up looking quite dystopian, or they're not really things that people are asking for. Just, I've seen what they've done. Crypto exchange Coinbase is coming out with their own, what they're calling a super app, after rebranding their Coinbase wallet as the Base app. Coinbase unveiled its new Everything app on Wednesday with a video showing how it will combine a crypto wallet, a trading wallet, and payment functions with a social media app and a messaging app all in one. Did any of you get why I said dystopian? Can any of you guess why? I know some of you had that little light bulb go off over your head. Do you know in China, the way how things work? Everything works through something called WeChat or WePay, depending on what word you want to use for it. It's an app that is known as an everything app. So really, if you want to book an appointment to go to like the dog groomer, and you want to get a dentist, and you want to text your friend to meet you at 10 o'clock, you want to pay for your taxi, you want to pay for your health insurance, you want to see what the weather is, everything goes through this one app. Can you guess who controls and runs the app? The government. So, if you missed another recent video, we were talking about Jack Dorsey is creating an app. It's currently in beta testing. And it functions very similar to Bitcoin in that it has private messages. You can transact in Bitcoin through private transactions. It can even circumvent the internet and actually function just through Bluetooth. So if you and your friend both have Bluetooth, you can send money in this way completely privately. The idea of the app in China is that they want to record everything that you're doing. So a lot of you maybe have missed this news over the course of multiple years. Let's say there's an event happening and it's for the people, by the people. I think you get my drift. However, the powers that be don't want it to happen. Do you know that they'll literally scrub through the app and delete all mentions of that large gathering of people? And 2, anyone who has mentioned it, who has reshared it with their friends, they'll get penalized. So you know how America and many other places have like a credit score if you didn't pay your taxes, your bills, your car note, what have you? Theirs is a social score. So if you did something that the powers that be did not care for, your social score goes down. If your social score goes down too much, you can no longer take trains. Google this. You can no longer take trains. You can't rent apartments in certain areas. You are restricted from taking airplanes. This is all real. This isn't me making this up. This is a real thing. Google it. So then you go, but Coinbase isn't a country. Right. But the problem is, if you haven't been here, is that everything done on Coinbase, that information gets sent to government agencies so that they can keep track of where all your money is going. Now, imagine years ago, this was 2017, 2018. I remember there was a mandate for Coinbase and Binance and all the others to actually you must give us this information that you are holding as a crypto exchange to the proper authorities. Now imagine there's an app. You and your friends are chatting on it. You're posting videos, images, you're sending stuff to your friends. You've sent payments. You've bought things through the app that you wanted for yourself, only for yourself to know about. You've been trading on the app. You've been sending money through the app. And then we get news in 6 years that Coinbase is now obligated to send the last 6 years worth of data to the proper authorities. What do you think is going to happen? Every time that Coinbase creates something, it's always like borderline, like no one's asking for it. They keep trying to make it a thing. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants an all and everything app. This is why we've seen a gigantic movement to messaging apps that like are completely private. They're encrypted end to end and no one knows what's being written on them. The reason why Jack Dorsey's app is going to take off is because you can message your friends. No one will know about it. You can talk about what you want about. No one will know about it. And also the whole like monetary aspect. So, yeah, the new Base app was announced at the company's a new day one conference in Los Angeles. It will also support many apps running on the company's Ethereum layer 2 blockchain called Base, which is also not decentralized. Coinbase controls everything that happens on Base. People had a problem with it when it first launched, and they were like, hey, you guys gonna make it decentralized? And they said, we're gonna work on it. You can find that article as well. They said Coinbase Wallet is now the Base app, evolving from a wallet into an everything app that brings together social, apps, chat, payments, and trading, the firm said in a blog post. A lot of people who maybe need to read, I say it nicely, who maybe need to read more books or understand the world that these companies are trying to push us towards, maybe just read a bit more as to why this is a gigantic red flag. Yeah, this is an easy, this is an easy pass for me. I mean, it is impossible for me to put into English words or any other language how adamantly that I am never, ever going to use anything like this. Other companies have tried things like this before and they end up failing. But there's a certain country where you kind of have to use it. It behooves you. It behooves you to watch more documentaries, to read more books, learn more about how the world works, about red flags usually constantly being everywhere. Right. Anyone using this is going to I would just ask you to read more because this is not needed. We do not need it. And this goes against this is the actual complete opposite of what decentralization and freedom actually means. Well, I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.